Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Eddie, Q-PAC's Media and Engagement Manager. With me, I've got Austin Pleasance today. So Austin is one of our engineering product managers, and he's going to cover specials and special ordering processes with our FS1 system. I have no announcements today at the top, but what I will say is that if you've been with us before, we love for this to be an engaging and active participation between everybody. So please feel free to jump into the comments, jump into the chat, ask any questions that you have. We will respond as quickly as we can. Last time we had a few issues with the chat, so please be patient with us. We have somebody on the outside watching as well, so they can jump in and let us know that if we missed any questions or if anybody has any that we haven't seen before. So thanks, Evan. Yeah, I just got back from a run in New Zealand. Actually, about an hour ago, my plane landed and I jumped over and hopped on this. So if you have any questions about running at the end too, I'm happy to get into that with you. But I'm going to turn everything over to Austin. Please, again, any questions, put it in the chat. We love to make this a conversation and look forward to any ideas that you guys have about specials and Q-PAC.
Awesome. Thanks, Eddie. So, hey guys, my name is Austin, and this is obviously a very old picture of me. About 3 years ago, I started at Q-PAC and took this picture and it's been hanging around ever since. But I am product engineering manager here at Q-PAC, and I am the product owner for FS1. So any new development on FS1, and also project manager for large projects and special requests. So today we're going to be learning all about special requests. I'm going to tell you what a special request is, how to submit a special request, and some common types of special requests, what we will approve and what we will not approve. So let's get into it. What is a special request? So inside of Quips, which is our selection software, you have some inputs that you can put in over on the left-hand side. And sometimes when you put in your inputs, you don't get any possible solutions. So I'm sure some of you all are familiar with this screen here, where you just put in something that you might not know why you don't get any solutions, but it'll come back with no solutions. So you'll see this screen, and then there's a box where you can input a special request note that it's basically a direct line of communication with our engineers. So if you need something, you can tell us right through there. The other option is if you do get a selection, you can also, there's another special request box right below that configuration where you can also put in a special request note. So what we're trying to do with special requests, like it says at the top, we're trying to bring the future forward. So anything that's on our product development roadmap that might not be built into the selection software yet is usually accessible through a special request. So it's something that we're planning on doing in the future on your own, where you can select it without even letting anybody know. But it's not fully implemented yet. We can do through a special request. So how to submit a special request. So those two boxes that I just showed you there is the text box that you can fill out to submit a special request. And we got a few rules for those. So if your inputs don't lead to any possible configurations, then there's probably a reason why you're not getting any possible configuration. So at least one of your input variables will need to be flexible. So if you can tell us, hey, I really need to hit this static pressure, but my CFM is a little flexible. Can you give me the next closest thing? That'd be an example of a possible special request. If you're not getting any results, tell us which one of your variables or multiple variables are flexible, and we'll try to get the next best thing for you. Another rule for special requests is if we want one special request, one system quote per control panel. So if you want to do 36 fans all on one control panel, then input your CFM and your static that you want all on that one control panel and put your special request there. Don't split it in half and then do a special request for each one and say, hey, combine these onto one control panel for me. And then third is just add as much detail as possible. So we want to be able to help you out as quick as possible. So the more information you provide up front, the less we're going back and forth through email, phone calls, and whatnot, trying to get everything that we need. So you can just brain dump as much as you want in there. I don't think there's a character limit on those special requests, so just dump anything that you have. It'll be helpful for us to figure out. So I got a few examples of some good and some not so good special request notes that I've seen. Well, two that I've seen and one that I just made up. But the first one is a very good example of a special request. It's giving us as much information as possible, and then the second under the don't need a selection here. So that doesn't really provide much information for us. We don't really know where to start. If you're not getting any possible configurations and you just need a selection, we don't know which one of your variables is important to you and which one can slide a little bit to get you where you need to go. And lastly, we can't define physics under the special request team. So don't ask us to squeeze 36 fans into 36 square feet. That I wish we could, but we're still playing by the same laws of physics. So now we'll go into some different types of special requests. So we have a bunch of different things that we've seen before, and I'm sure we got some really smart people out there that work with us that'll request some crazy things that we'll even add onto this list later. But these are just some of the ones that we've seen now, some common ones that we like to do. So the first one, pretty common thing, is people want a system that's more than 18 plug fans. So right now, Quips only allows you to go up to 18 plug fans. So if you need something larger than that, we have to get you a custom control panel and a custom bulkhead wall to be able to fit more than 18 fans on there. This is a pretty simple special request for us to process. Pretty quick turnaround times on those. So if you need anything more than 18 fans, please just input your actual CFM that you need, the total CFM, not the CFM for half the system. You can little tip to figure out how many fans you need on your own without having to wait for us to tell you is you can split your systems in half, make two separate quotes inside of Quips, split your CFM in half, and then hopefully that's enough to get you a selection for half of your system. But we ask that when it comes time to submit that special request, just change it back to your full CFM, make a special request, and we'll add all the fans on there that we need. Yeah, so this does come with a custom control panel. We have a much larger enclosure size, as you can see on the right-hand side there, for our custom control panels. This allows us to do up to 4 quick connect boxes, up to 9 fans per QCB. So we can do up to 36 fans as a special request on one FS1 system. Yeah, these are one of my favorite types of special requests to do. I love seeing just a wall of fans lined up next to each other, all running on one large control panel. Up next, we can do multiple FS1s in one Airstream. So this one may or may not be a special request, but it's something where we can help make an extra drawing for you, showing your multiple FS1s next to each other in one Airstream, make sure that all is going to fit into your one Airstream dimension that you give us. So there's an example of a job that was actually at yesterday over in Houston, where we have 3 separate FS1 systems, 2 QCBs per FS1, but they're all sharing one common Airstream. So in a case like this, they could be standard. Each FS1 could be standard or special. And then if you just add a special request to one of them that says, hey, can you give me a drawing that shows all 3 of these together on one drawing side by side, and then we can definitely do that for you. When we're combining multiple FS1s in one Airstream, we usually leave a 4-inch gap in between those FS1 systems. This gives you room for a field support where you can get your engineer or somebody to design a support that can handle the loads for you. Usually 4 inches is plenty of space there for an engineer to come in and design that support. This can link multiple FS1s together, like I said. One caveat with multiple FS1s in the Airstream is we either need to add gravity backdraft dampers to all the fans, or we need to take a hard look at the control sequence and sequence of operations there, because the last thing we want is somebody to come and turn one of the control panels on and not the other one, and have a lot of air backflowing through the system that's off. And then somebody try to turn on the one system while the fans are spinning backwards. That can cause some damage to our bearings and not have the system work the way we intend it to. So that's something to look out for with multiple FS1s. Is you can just add the gravity backdraft dampers if you have the room and the performance space for that, and then you don't have to worry about the sequence. But if we do the control sequence properly, then you don't need those backdraft dampers. Another type of special request is a combined wall. So this is when we're having two control panels on the same wall, and you don't want that 4-inch gap. You don't want to design your own structure in between the FS1 systems. We can do a combined wall. And this would mean that Q-PAC provides the whole scope of the whole wall, the whole Airstream. There are some limitations here. We can't not go greater than 300 inches wide on this combined wall. So if you need more than 300 inches of width, then we'll have to do that 4-inch gap and have somebody else provide that structure in between. This is a very, very common special request here, is a door module. This is one of my favorite ones to do as well. So we can provide you a door in our bulkhead wall that gives you access, usually to the coil. A lot of people want to have access to be able to clean the coils through our bulkhead wall. A lot of retrofit applications, before we replaced the old fan with Q-PAC, you could just walk around either side of the fan. You have plenty of space. But now that we're providing a partition wall in the middle of the Airstream, a lot of times either the existing doors in the air handling cabinet aren't in the right spot, or maybe we have to remove the door that used to be there in order to put this wall in. It just provides a lot more flexibility. If you have the space in the Airstream to do a door in the bulkhead wall, I highly recommend it. It can really come in handy. We usually try to size the door to be at least the depth, the width of the door to be at least the depth of each plug fan. So that way you can pull one of the fans through the door if you need to replace it. But I know a lot of people really like these doors and have a lot of different use cases for it. So I highly recommend throwing it on as a special request if you have the room for it. Another type of special request is a vertical split. This is similar to what I was talking about earlier, where if you have something that's more than 300 inches wide, then we're going to need to split it and leave a gap there. But this can also be done on the same control panel as well. So if you have two separate Airstreams with like a dividing wall, but you want them both sides of the Airstream to run on the same control panel, we can do that. And it does not have to be on something that's greater than 9 fans as well. So even if you have a 4-pack system and you want to split it into 2 2s, we can do that. Now each side of that split will have its own QCB. So that one 4-pack QCB will now end up being 2 2-pack QCBs. And the control panel size will grow slightly because of that. But we can split the bulkhead into 2 separate systems if you need it, and have it all run on one control panel. Along the same lines, we can do a horizontal split. This is really handy for systems that are greater than 140 inches tall. So right now, on a single bulkhead wall, our height limit is 140 inches. That's due to our sheet metal size. We just can't go anything higher than that with our machines and sheet metal that we have. So if you needed something that's 150 inches tall, 200 inches tall, we can split that system in half, and we can stack these systems on top of each other. Again, we will leave a 4-inch gap for that support that somebody else will need to design. and make sure that they're taking into account the weight of the systems on top, but also take into account the pressure on the wall all the way across. So this horizontal split is usually used for systems over 140 inches tall, but it can be used anytime where you need to split. Sometimes there's an existing beam that we can hijack and reuse for any of these splits, whether it's horizontal or vertical. It can come in handy if you have a really strong structure already there. There's no need to rip it out or install the wall in a different location. We can reuse that and attach straight to that structure. So you can just give us your rough openings of your Airstream, and we can design each subset of the FS1 system to fit in those openings. Another type of special we get to do a lot of is shifting fans. So we can shift fans pretty much in any direction, up, down, left, or right, to avoid existing obstacles. So a lot of times there is a concrete pad from where the old fan was sitting on that it's going to cost way too much money to demo. So we can sometimes leave that pad in place and shift the fans up. All you got to do is submit a special request saying, hey, make sure there's no components within 6 inches, 12 inches of the bottom. Same thing goes with left or right. Sometimes there's a column in the way, pipes, you name it. In a retrofit application, there's always something going on. So if you need to shift the fans in any direction, we can do that. And the reason this is an interesting special request, the reason we allow this one is because in the future, we're planning on doing some blank off modules that you can buy and size on your own through Quips. And so in the future, you would just buy if you needed to shift your fans up, you could buy the same exact system at minimum height or much shorter height, and you can stack that on top of a blank module. Same thing with left or right. If you needed 24 inches of space on the right side where there's no fans to avoid a blockage or a beam, in the future, you would be able to order a standard system that's a little bit narrower and then a blank off module to go next to it. Because we don't have the ability to size blank off modules in Quips or anything right now, this is the next best way that we can go in, and our engineers can hack the code and change those variables to make those fans sit wherever you need them to sit. And then lastly, here's a list of some other specials that we can either approve or reject that I didn't have any pictures for, but let's focus on the approved side first. So if you need to select a system at elevation, for example, we have a customer out in Denver who is always selecting systems at 5,280 feet, and we'll go in, we'll adjust the static pressure to account for that elevation change, that density change in the air. We'll update the submittal and everything to reflect that. So that way you're getting the right amount of airflow at the end of the day. Another type of special request we can do is fanless. So if let's say you already have a Q-PAC system and you want to upgrade it 5 years from now with the next greatest Q-PAC system, and you already have the plug fans, we can most likely reuse those fans and give you another system where we just provide the bulkhead wall and the harnesses and the control panel and quick connect box without the plug fans themselves. Something we've been doing more of recently is control panelists. CP stands for control panel. So control panelists. This one's really cool and something we're doing a lot of development on for the future. But basically, you can order a system. Maybe you don't need the fuse disconnect. Maybe you don't need the handoff auto or the potentiometer or the touch screen or any of these fancy things on the control panel. Maybe you just want to send it a 0 to 10 signal and you just want the fan to run. We can do that with a control panelist system where we can just remove the control panel altogether. You can send a 0 to 10 signal to the quick connect box and we can get your fans up and running. This is something I'm really excited about, and I think we're going to do a lot more of these over the near future. One we get asked about a lot is upblast systems. So an application where your Airstream is pumping the air upwards instead of in the traditional horizontal direction. We can do some of those where the structure of the bulkhead wall itself needs to be taken into consideration to make sure we have the right aspect ratio, make sure we're not something too big where the fans are going to sag down in the middle, where the wall wasn't designed properly. So if it's going to be an upblast configuration, just send us a special request message, and we'll make sure that that you're good to go, and we're not selling you something that's going to fall apart down the road. If you need any spare components, we can do that through a special request as well. If you want some extra fans, some extra contactors, some extra fuses, whatever you want extra, we can do that through a special request. We'll get that added to the quote for you. Blank off module, like I was mentioning under the shifting the fans section, we can do blank off modules where it's just straight up stainless steel, same style panels where they interlock together and form a nice structure. But we can do that. Harmonic filters are another thing that we can do through a special request. We can help you size your harmonic filters. If it's a very large system, we can help you figure out where the best place to put them is. We can help inform you to make a better decision of whether or not you need the harmonic filters even to begin with. So that's something we can also do through harmonics. So yeah, these are all types of special requests we will approve. And then finally, we can go through this list of things that we will not approve. So if you ask for more than 36 fans on one control panel, that's just something we're not able to do through our PLC. It's the maximum number of IOs that we have. We can't do more than 36 on one control panel. We also can't do more than 9 fans on one QCB. As much as I would like to stack 10 fans high on one column with one QCB, just something we can't do with our current architecture. We don't have a powder coating shop. We're not able to powder coat our bulkhead walls. I know some people want that for corrosion resistance. Same thing with stainless steel bulkhead wall. But we're just not capable of doing that at the moment. Custom hardware, if you want stainless steel hardware or any type of special, different type of metal, not our standard hardware, that's something that we would need to decline. It just wouldn't flow well through our factory. It's not something we can handle at the moment. Wallless as well will be rejected. We don't want to build our system without our bulkhead wall. Bulkhead wall is an integral part of the system. And we believe that you lose a lot of the value of our system without the bulkhead wall. So you need to have that bulkhead wall there. We can't do fan cages or inlet guards at the moment. Custom damper frames, if you have, so we use Tamco dampers on our systems whenever you order a system with dampers. But if you have your own dampers or a different type of damper, we can't make any custom damper frames to mount those to our wall. Door on same panel as fan. That's an interesting one that I surprisingly get quite a bit, but a lot of times if you have a system where it's like two fans, and then one fan on each column, some people will ask to add a door right below that one fan column. And there might be space there, but the way our bulkhead wall door works, it needs to be on a fan panel, on a panel all by itself. It can't have any other fans on that panel. And lastly, remote mounted QCBs. A lot of times people will want to mount the QCB outside the Airstream for whatever reason. We do not recommend this because you're losing a lot of the advantages of having the QCB there. The power distribution out to each fan, that QCB needs to be right there next to those fans. We also have some pressure readings from that QCB. So we need to make sure that QCB is mounted where we say it's going to be mounted. So I believe that is it.
Nice. Nicely done. So yeah, you can see there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of things that we're able to do with the FS1. and then a lot of things that we're still innovating on and figuring out as we move forward. And so we love hearing back from everybody. Doug has the first question that I see. So again, if I've missed any of them, please feel free to put them back in the chat just so that we can get to them. So far, I haven't seen that I've missed any, but Doug's is, what is the issue with cages and inlet screens? Seems much simpler than some of the approved.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. We used to do inlet guards and used to make our own fan cages. Right now, we just believe that we don't have a good solution for the fan cages. We don't have a good in-house solution for that that we can manufacture easily. You're more than welcome to source your own fan cages and inlet guards, but the inlet guards had big supply chain issues during COVID, and we just haven't added them back since. So it's something that we're looking at in the future, but we just aren't able to offer those right now. Nice.
So then Matt has a question. Are you looking into putting bulkhead wall doors into quips?
Yes, that's going to be an awesome day when that happens. That's something we're working really hard on right now. I have no update on the time frame for that, but that is the dream, is to be able to have that there in quips. You can select your size, your location, your handing, and be able to iterate through different designs on your own without having to go through us. Good question.
Yeah, Austin, I don't know how much you're able to share or talk about, but that is something that we're working on with Quips too, is just a lot more accessibility for you all on your end to be able to put in things like specials.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple more questions. We've got a little bit of time. We finished up a little bit early today, so happy to sit here and hang out, just kind of like we always do. So yeah, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. There will be a follow-up survey. We love hearing from you all. It's a great way for you to provide any feedback you think of later, provide any feedback on just unPAC in general, or what you hope we cover in the future. So we love hearing back from you. That's just a 3-question survey that I will send out right after this. And then as this finishes, I take the data or the video file, I add a bunch of timestamps so that you can access it really quickly, and I put it on YouTube. So if you all weren't able to make it, or somebody in your office or somebody that you work with you think is going to get a lot of value from these things, just know that this information will be in there so that you can quickly scroll through it and you can quickly find what you're looking for. We want to make it as accessible as possible. So that will be up shortly this afternoon.
You mean I'm going to be on the internet forever now?
Austin, you'll be on the internet forever.
Oh, it's just a live event.
Nope. You're here now, buddy. Long hair and all. So yeah, we'll give it another minute. Again, a lot of flexibility with the FS1 and continuing to iterate on that. So, and looking forward to Quips too, as that comes later down the line.
And actually, I can clarify one thing if we have some time. Back here, I was talking about the rules for the special requests, and if you just have no idea what's going on, you just want our help, you can just send us a message, just say help, and we can get you through there as well. I don't want it to make it seem like we won't help you if you're not following these rules or whatever. So we can definitely try to help you out. It'll just take more cycles of communication back and forth. So the more you can provide up front, the better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Always know, like we love hearing from people, especially one-on-one. So if there's something that is kind of making you uncertain, especially when it comes to how you can apply the FS1 in a project that might have a lot of moving pieces, make sure you reach out to us. There are a lot of times that we're able to figure it out. There just happens to be a communication issue at some point, but as long as you reach out to us directly, especially Austin, we're usually able to work out a solution for you. So don't ever be scared away from slapping an FS1 in that building. All right, you all. Well, that is our half hour. So again, look for that survey just in case you have any lingering questions. Feel free to reach out to me directly. You can email me at marketing@qpac.com. That goes directly to my phone and to my computer. So I'll make sure I get it, and I can get you in touch with Austin or any of the other engineers that you have any questions for. Thanks again for being with us today. Thanks, Austin. You did a great job on your first presentation, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next one.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.